Neil Jenkins yn gallu coroni'r prynhawn a throsi o'r ysbrys.
Jenkins.
We won't appreciate how great Neil Jenkins was for years to come, I guess. We're very short-sighted in that respect. The man's a legend, world's greatest, a trainer of the highest order, the best man in my eyes to wear that number 10 jersey.
There was one player who I almost wanted to go into battle with, and that was Neil Jenkins.
Jenkins.
The points machine, that was an incredible achievement to score all those points, but he was a very, very, very good fly half.
Irish's hands, no, it's not as Neil Jenkins! Yes, he does, gets there!
Nawr Ken. Mae'n gyfnetol dda ganddo fe. Mae'n gydwyd.
The greatest goal kicker that Wales has definitely seen and world rugby has ever seen.
Neil Jenkins is one of those players that doesn't come around very often. For a start, he scored over 1,000 points, which is ridiculous.
Jenkins, it's certainly big enough and high enough, and it's straight.
Neil hasn't changed. I mean, he's a people's man. People can relate to him. He's a great guy and a real hero. You know, what Neil represents is all what's good about the Welsh, the Hiraeth, you know, the people in Wales.
Rugby is a massive part of my life. It's something that I've done since, you know, I was basically 6, 7 years of age. My father played rugby, my mother's brothers played rugby, my cousins, and obviously some of my friends as well. They've all played the game, so it's just been a big part of my life and something that I've enjoyed really from the amateur days, and obviously to be part of this professional era now. But just meeting new friends, you know, being able to travel the world. There's lots and lots of things about a game, but I just purely enjoy the fact of actually taking a pitch and playing. I got to be honest, whether it be for Wales, you know, whether it was for my local club in Llantwr, it didn't really matter. It's just actually being able to play and enjoying myself.
Is that bad? You can put your socks on, can't you?
Any youngster, when you start off, you just want to represent your country, and I'm no different to anyone else. And even from the age of 6, 7, you watch Wales on TV. That's all you ever want to do is, you know, pull that red shirt on, because I believe you me, the feeling you get when you run out in our national stadium is something you can't ever explain. So you know, that was something really, and you know, just playing. I'm a Pontypridd boy at the end of the day, and being able to play for Pontypridd and play for them for a long time is pretty special. And in a sense, I've been very lucky in my career to represent both, and you know, success, highs and lows. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, just being part of it is pretty special. If someone had offered me what I've achieved in the game sort of 20, even 25 years ago, I'd have ripped their arm off. Believe you me, I would have gone, yes, thank you very much. Because as I said, you know, ever since you're young, you always want to represent your country, and to be lucky enough to represent it for, you know, 80 odd times that I've been able to is pretty special. And I think that if they'd have offered me that, definitely I'd have said yes, thank you very much, and I wouldn't even thought twice about it. So again, you know, I'm just thankful and appreciative to what has happened in my career, really. It is a strong mining area, working class people. That's basically what we're all about. I think that we're not no city slickers, you know, we're up here, we get on with us, you know, we're in our own little world in a sense, and it's something that, you know, I think we enjoy. You know, me as a person in terms of the rugby, you know, I know the rugby's massive to the community, but I think anything or anyone that does any good in the community is very important, and I think everyone appreciates that. They put their hard work in, and I think that's basically what Pontypridd and the area is all about.
In a lot of ways, coming from the background he is from, he'll be remembered as like a working class hero. He's still got the same friends, he still lives in the same area, he still does the same things, he's still got the best mate from school, Jason.
Shot, son. Excellent shot.
He's hard-working and honest, you know, as well as the skills that he's got. He's a team player, and he grew up with that, I suppose, with his dad coming from a large family, you know, and his mother, whose brothers play rugby as well. So, you know, the environment for that was always there.
Well, he always had the ball. He used to drop kick, or he'd be sat watching TV on the settee, and he'd be dodging like that, because he'd drop kicking the ball over the settee when he was watching TV. And he'd walk around, drop kick it back over, and then walk around and drop kick it back over again. Oh, aye. That was when he was about 6, I think.
This is where it all started, Jason, eh?
Yes, many years ago.
Many years ago. The Lantwit Rugby Club here. We started 6, 7, 8 years of age. I went to my local club in Lantwit Vardra and started playing there for the under-8s along with Paul and one or two of them, my other friends. And just the enjoyment that you would get every Sunday, going there, playing, having a bit of fun as well. It's not all about rugby at the end of the day, but meeting new friends, meeting other kids from the area, and you know, I suppose making friends there last a very long time.
He grew up in the University of Life. That was his education. He was, you know, he'd sit in the classroom and look out at the green grass outside and want to be out there.
School and Neil were not the best of pals.
But Neil would be thinking that, well, he doesn't need to go to school. He just, you know, he work with his father and everything. And then in his spare time, he can practice the rugby.
I didn't go to school a great deal. No, if I could get away with it. My father used to be a scrap merchant, and basically, if I could go with him, not so much down to rugby or anything like that, but if I could go with him in a lorry or my grandfather, I would. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy school, but I used to enjoy PE and doing sport in school, but in terms of maths and English, I was pretty poor, so I think it'd be much more beneficial if I went with my father and went in the scrap lorry with him. This is where it's all wired up now, look. I know you can't see a great deal, or you can't see anything, but this is a scrap yard down there. See the burnt out car down there? Basically down there, that's where it all happened. That was the main yard, and then I used to have hours and hours of fun in that field, driving, messing around.
Yeah. We were there on a Friday and I was scrapping his lorry, and I said, whip all the wheel nuts off now, Neil, let number 8 run at you tomorrow, you'll cut him in half. Well, when he was playing, I think he was playing Aberdeen on the Saturday. I can't think what the number 8 was now for Aberdeen in the youth. But anyway, he run at Neil. He must have thought he was running into a brick wall. Neil chucked him right under his shoulder, into his ribs, he did. Boo! Hit him back. About 10 minutes later, he was off the field. He was the number 8. Aye, very strong.
My father used to flog me then all day, work extremely hard, didn't he, Jace?
Yes, my father worked very hard.
And no, it was enjoyable though. It was, you know, it was good fun and something different. I think in a sense it helps you in terms of, you know, when you're doing physical work all day, manual labour, it helps in terms of the rugby as well. Gives you some of that, you know, that extra little bit of strength that probably weights can't give you. So, but yeah, it was good, enjoyable days. But life moves on.
Neil was always very enthusiastic, but he worked hard as well on his own. You could always see him with a ball, you know, down on the field and trying to do the skills and work very hard at what he was doing, and he was quite dedicated even at that time.
At a young age, I remember him kicking from his own 10-yard line, probably about 14, something like that, from his own 10-yard line, 14, 15. So that was 60 metres, no problem, down at the local Caivardra field.
This is our international pitch, and this is the Millennium Stadium for us. Old Caivardra. We've had many a match on here, haven't we?
Yes, many a match.
Football, rugby, cricket, baseball, anything, you name it. We've basically done it on here, we son.
Yes.
When we was learning about the tackle, and I got the cigarettes and then a box of matches, like. So I'm running at him with the ball bare full view, and he'd come into me banging in, the box of matches have gone up, and I'm running around the field trying to put them out like this. I said, oh, no more tackling.
Neil's interest in rugby came from where he grew up, in South Wales, which in those days, he was born in 1971, height of Wales's underland success, and so it was very much part of the culture in South Wales in those days. It was built on success, and he grew up with it as a small boy. Started playing when he was young, got attached to Pontypridd as a junior, and came up through the ranks. But it was something in those days that youngsters aspired to. These days, you see them in Manchester United or Arsenal or Liverpool kits, and not many in rugby strips.
Plays for Swansea. Oh, good reverse pass, Jonathan Davis. There's that acceleration. Very, very quick. Back goes Derek White. The try is scored. Wonderful try by Davis. Can you believe it?
My favourite player was Jonathan. Just some of the skills and the way he played the game, you know, I thought was fantastic. And obviously, I'm a different player to Jonathan anyway, but if he could do some of the things that he did, you know, I'd be more than happy. And he was a fantastic player. I always used to love watching Ellery Hanley play. I know he's a rugby league player, but I used to love watching him play. I thought he was a fantastic rugby player. And again, you know, Jonathan was, you know, for me, you know, the sort of, I think, one of the best Welsh players of all time.
Once he knew he was good at rugby, he was driven from within, I think, to succeed. Not just to, you know, to have a go at it and maybe come off. If he wanted to succeed and go to the very top.
We were 11 years of age. I think it was Pontypridd schools under 11s football and Pontypridd schools sort of under 11s rugby. And I felt basically if I'm going to make a go of it, I'm going to be a better rugby player than I am a football player. So, you know, I basically took the rugby route. And at that age, for me, just to focus on one sport was pretty important. I think that you know, I could give my all to rugby then. Once you make the Pony team, the best players from East Wales play against your best players from West Wales, and you get to play at the National Stadium. And you know, for someone who's 11 years of age, it's unbelievable. Honestly, it's like, you know, what's going on there?
Jenks was a gingerhead. He lost some hair since, but we knew going into that game you don't want to give penalties away. Even at that age of 11, Jenks could kick a ball quite far.
I played in the centre for East Wales and Rob played outside half for West Wales, so you know, good rivalry even at that age. But no, again, you know, it's a fantastic achievement to play in that game, and for you to represent your country and at the National Stadium is, you know, is huge. And again, you know, something I'll never forget. And you know, it was a fantastic day. You know, I really enjoyed it.
Jenkins, there's a big gun, does 1, 2, 3 quarters. Jenkins on the chase. Brilliant score.
Neil Jenkins, outside half.
Obedient servant, Neil Jenkins in support. And really, Steffan Jones didn't get close to stopping him.
Neil Jenkins, massive.
Rugby puts the town on the map basically, and Pontypridd is not a big area. We're not like Cardiff or Swansea or Newport, you know, we're quite small in comparison. So for Pontypridd to have a successful side and to be probably seen throughout the world, I think is pretty big for the town. You know, when Pontypridd do well, you know, everyone appreciates it, and they realise the hard work the players put in. But you know, we appreciate the support from the fans and everyone alike who, you know, supports the club.
For us, Pontypridd Rugby Club was the centre of everything, you know. It was the centre of the community, and it was where we spent most of our time. We were lucky enough to know some business people in town, and they say if Ponty win on a Saturday, they you know, people will come to work on a Monday, and obviously it's a big lift. It's the thing with Ponty, when Ponty's successful as a club, business is better.
He went from playing for the youth side to playing for the senior Pontypridd side, and he admitted that it was a huge jump for him because he didn't want to take it unless he was sure of succeeding. So he delayed as long as possible his debut for Pontypridd.
It is a massive step from youth to senior rugby, and I was only 18 at the time. And I always remember beforehand never really wanted to play for Pontypridd because basically I was afraid of failure. I was afraid that I wouldn't be good enough. And I always remember saying to myself, a time has come now, you just got to get on with it, you've got to knuckle down, just play like any other game. And I was surprised, I think, how easy I sort of took to the game at senior level. I felt comfortable and, you know, I really enjoyed it.
You can go back and look at the headlines straight away. He was making headlines, he was scoring points, he was scoring tries, he had a major impact.
As the years progressed, I think we realised that he had this bit of a radar scenario, and we thought, hang on, this boy's quite special with the boot, you know, and it was a tremendous comfort zone for Pontypridd. We used to appreciate Neil so much that we'd get into kicking zones, work hard to get into kicking zones, therefore kicking the 3 points, and we'd have a comfort zone to work with.
1037 gan Neil Jenkins mewn tymor newydd.
Thomas once again plays good advantage. Jenkins goes for the dropped goal. He struck it cleanly.
I don't think he's just a goal kicker or a kicker of a ball. He's got lovely talent, beautiful passer, left or right-handed, sees space, is a great footballer, and you know, when you think of the talent that he's got, that he can play at full-back, centre and number 10, then you only have to see what an accomplished footballer he is.
Neil Jenkins, steady platform for the half-backs to exploit.
In terms of work rate and team ethic and togetherness, I don't think there's not many sides better than Pontypridd, I've got to be honest. And you know, we would just work incredibly hard for each other, whether it be in training or actually in the game.
As quiet as he is off the field, he was always very demanding on the pitch. He wanted the best from each player, myself included. We were best friends, but you know, we had our fair share of barneys, and rightly so. But after match off we'd come and we'd have a beer together, have a laugh, and that's the way it is, you know.
We were playing some really good rugby that those 95 to 97 when we won the league. We were playing some really good rugby then, and everything seemed to click into place. We were beating sides by 40, 50 points, and the style of rugby they were playing was probably really good to watch. Most enjoyable time, my time at Ponty, was that middle era, without a doubt, and I think anybody who played at that time would say the same thing. Our support down here were absolutely phenomenal.
They've come from all parts of South Wales.
I think everybody from Ponty and the Valleys must have gone down. We played the year before and lost to Swansea.
I missed 4 kicks at goal that day, and I always remember saying to Dennis that we will be back next year and we will win.
When he dropped the goal in the first few minutes the following year, when we were playing Neath, I think he had great satisfaction out of that, and that settled him down, because that was one of the few times I felt that he was a little bit nervous, because he wanted desperately to repair the damage from the previous year.
Good support by Pontypridd, keeping everything alive. Richie Collins feeds. Jenkins for the drop goal. Dramatic start. Pontypridd ahead. The perfect start for number 10, Neil Jenkins. The perfect start for Pontypridd. But they're still there. Jenkins drove in for the gap. Big man to pull down. It's for Paul John. Paul John. It's a try. Pontypridd first. They're back in the game. To the Ponty back. David Manley. Manley takes them on. Geraint Lewis. Brilliant try, Pontypridd. Is there one more? The chase for Geraint Lewis. Geraint Lewis first there. He's got another. Jenkins for goal. He struck it well. Nigel Bazzani lifts the trophy triumphantly high.
Following season, the title, I think we only lost. We won something like 20 or 22 league games. We were only a small town, and for the club to be doing exceptionally well, you know, I suppose enhances Pontypridd as a little town and just brings it more into the outside world, basically. I think that not many look up the valleys from Cardiff. I think not many want to travel up there, but believe you me, it's a nice old place, and you go out to Ponty for a night out, they'll enjoy themselves. But no, it is, you know, it was massive for the community and for the club in general, and I think, as I said, everyone really appreciated what the players have done, but we certainly appreciated what the fans give us and the support.
Pontypridd reflects Neil to a T, and Neil reflects Pontypridd. It is a non-establishment club. His attitude was on the pitch was one in all, and it was off the pitch as well, and there was no room for prima donnas.
That was a good thing about us. I think that's what made us a good side, was that, you know, we wouldn't take a backward step. At the end of the day, not everyone wants to brawl. We certainly don't want to brawl, but you know, if teams are going to push you around, you've got to show that, you know, you're not willing to take it, basically.
We had a few characters, a few beauties. They used to call us the Beauty 15 at that stage, but we had a few beauties on our side, and as I say, we just backed our corner. And if one's in, it's we're all in, and that's just the way Pontypridd is.
Yeah, we backed each other's corner more than once. We've had 1 or 2 incidents. I think everyone's seen the Brive incident as well.
The kick taken by Lamezon, charged down. Kevin Morgan, can he keep it alive? It's a try, a dramatic score for the fullback, a dramatic score for Pontypridd.
Them being European champions, they basically tried to intimidate us, and we didn't start anything. They started it. They were really rough, physical in the game. They were gouging, they were doing all kinds of things in the game, and we stood our ground.
And there's a penalty against Dale McIntosh as well, and here we go. Oh, it's all so unseemly, all so unsightly. It started innocuously with just Dale McIntosh involved, and now, well, all 30 players are involved, and it's absolute mayhem. Huge punches being thrown.
Dale got sent off along with, I think it was Lionel Mallier for them. They beat us by a very dodgy try at the end of the game. The ball was about 2 foot off the floor.
Everybody on the field straining every sinew. The one side to get to the try line, the other side to keep them out. Ed Murray's awarded the try.
The French aren't used to it in their face, but we live and die by the sword in Pontypridd. In the last couple of years we've had a few brawls together, and if he's in there, I'm in there. That's just the way it is. I don't do that for many people, but Neil knows that if he needed me at any time, that I'd be there. As far as I'm concerned, he's part of my family, and that's the way it is. So yeah, I value him a lot.
It's my pleasure today to confirm that Neil Jenkins is about to sign a 4-year contract with Cardiff Rugby Club.
Great stuff. Okay.
He's moved around as well. He's come down and played in Cardiff. I think he really encompasses the spirit of Wales.
When he went to Cardiff as a professional, he slotted those penalties for Cardiff even against Pontypridd, because he was there to do a job, to pay to do a job.
After Pontypridd dominated for them couple of years, I thought we fell away a little bit, and that's what hurt me the most, to be honest. And I felt that we could have become stronger and stronger. That was my biggest factor of leaving. I was disappointed with the ambition at the club at the time, and I felt that, well, maybe my ambition sort of was different to theirs.
I was a bit stung by the reports that he had supported Cardiff since he was a kid. I was like, oh, there we are. But considering he used to rag them off to me all the time.
He came to Cardiff for a while, got injured, didn't settle too well, and went back to Pontypridd.
Because he was from the valleys and played for Pontypridd, that's where we mainly recognise him for, not Cardiff. Although they paid his wages, he was still Pontypridd through and through.
For the fans and the club, he was like the prodigal son returned, so it gave the area a lift and the rugby club a lift and everything, so people started looking forward to that season.
It's nice to be back with Dale and Paul John and people like that, and some new faces, and at the end of the day I'm Pontypridd through and through, and it's just nice to see the club doing really well.
Rob Andrew though, caught in turn by Jenkins. Jenkins on the blind side, tries to jink back inside his man. The ball is brought them back anyway. Dagan's run is in vain.
Big years, ginger hair, Neil Jenkins.
No, it's not as Neil Jenkins. Yes, he does. Gets there. Well, for
the best kicker in the world. You want to put your mortgage on anything, it's him, isn't it?
Neil Jenkins actually stood there and said, I'm Wales.
He's a Welshman's Welshman, if you like. I mean, he embodies all that most true Welshmen feel about the country.
Scott Gibbs still going. Paul John needs to set up Neil Jenkins, the outside half, free to score.
It's everyone's dream. When you start playing as a youngster, your ambition is to pull on that red shirt and them 3 feathers, and I know different to anyone else.
The outside half will go all the way on his own. Well, there may have been questions, but it's Gibbs going all the way.
We came onto the senior setup in the same in the same vein. Both left the Welsh youth setup, and then Neil played for Pontypridd, I played at Neath, and thereafter it was a baptism of fire. You know, little more than a handful of games each, and we were playing against England, you know, 6 months later.
Only being 19 years of age as well, and then to be selected to play for Wales against England in '91 at Cardiff, well, at the end, you know, it gives me goosepimples now just thinking about it.
I actually sent him a telegraph, you know, wishing him all the best, and that's the first one I did, send a telegraph to, you know, who took my place, because I don't know why, I saw something in him that was very similar to me from background, and I wanted to wish him all the best because I knew how nervous he would be in his first, you know, cap.
I remember being in the changing rooms and not hearing anything, but obviously the guys talk, you know, encouraging each other and, you know, go for it and, you know, enjoy yourself out there. I remember they opened the changing room door and I was like, Jesus Christ, what's that? And it was like, it just hit you, it just actually hit you. I thought, bloody hell, you know, and you realise you had to go up the tunnel and left and out. And I thought, oh, here we go. And then I get nervous anyway. I was very nervous. I was nervous at the time, but I always remember that. And it was just like, just really hit home, I think, what was actually going to happen. And to run out of the tunnel and run out into the stadium with the 50,000 people and against England, you know, there's no better game or bigger game than that for a Welshman. And, you know, it was awesome. And, you know, I'll never forget that. I always remember the grog shop saying to me that in Pontypridd that we won't make a grog of you until you score a try for Wales. So I said, oh, okay, great. I thought, right, never. And luckily enough, I managed to get one in my third game against Ireland.
Ring's so cool, amazing stuff from Ring, even at this level. Able to stand his ground and offer the players around him a chance to run. Lovely balance running from forward. He's got space and support. Phil Davis looks for him queuing up around him. It's Neil Jenkins. That would be a try. That would be a remarkable try. Superbly done. Fiddles, you know, as true as they were, they made the grog in, and that's when I really became a proper international. When you get grog, you really made it then. Neil Jenkins.
There's always huge pressure on the Wales outside half, and it doesn't matter how well or badly Wales are doing. The outside half is if you like, the mythical position within that team. You go back through the years, and a lot of Wales's most legendary players have been outside halves.
Harry John, can he make it? Oh, what a try!
Neil Jenkins was the unconventional number 10, not a classic Welsh fly half. He wasn't like Phil Bennett, Jonathan Davis, any of those guys. Odd looking, odd playing in a way, because he was more of a kicker than a runner. He took so much stick, so much criticism from the pundits at that time.
When Neil came into the outside half position, I felt a little sorry for him, because here he was put into the number 10 at a very young age in not a great Welsh side, and they expected Neil to be the traditional Welsh outside half of many years gone by, if you like, you know, darting, dancing, small, you know, very, very quick. But Neil was a different type of fly half. He was much stronger. He could sort of pass better. He was a good kicker. And I think they were saying, oh, you know, he's not the traditional number 10. And he took a lot of stick those early days.
He had great distribution skills. Players loved to play outside of him because, you know, he could pass left and right, you know, 20 yards, which would give you a lot of attacking options. His goal kicking, of course, you don't have to mention that. But also his tactical awareness and general, you know, match play was superb.
Neil was his own man. He did it his own way, and that's what I like about him. You know, didn't mould his game on anyone else. He knew what he had, and that's how he delivered it.
I did have a lot of criticism throughout my career, early doors, you know, from ex-players, basically because, you know, I wasn't supposed to tackle and things like that. But I don't think they realise that the modern game has moved on and you've got to tackle. No matter what position you're in, you've got to tackle. My mother and father just said, don't worry about anything, you know, just be strong. You know, and I think I am pretty strong mentally. My mother hated it, don't get me wrong. My father didn't. My father would be like, oh, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. Just keep playing. Keep enjoying yourself. It doesn't matter about them. You're only jealous. That's what he would say, basically.
They didn't have any idea of what a fly half was, did they? They never had a fly half in Wales till Neil come along anyway. The other fly half was all right, but he wasn't nowhere near Neil's class of playing the fly half they had. He tattled, defended, kicked the ball, scored the points.
It drives you on more and more. Just makes you want to pull on our shirt more. Just makes you want to just keep playing well. Prove them wrong. As long as you're happy and you're happy with the way that you're playing, and no matter what they say at the end of the day, I am Neil Jenkins, 87 Welsh caps plus 4 Lions caps. So at the end of the day, I'm a rubbish rugby player.
There's a company in Wales people are talking about. It's brought a smile to thousands of faces. Now it's the name on everyone's lips. Just Rentals. Just ask Neil.
Neil has loads of weird little idiosyncrasies about him. You know, I have the honour, or the dubious honour, of sleeping with him on a Friday afternoon and Friday evening before internationals. It would be halfbacks would always share a room together, and he taught me to sleep during the day. I became a sleep monster. He's a ginger monster. I became a sleep monster. We'd go to bed after training. We'd have the big bar of chocolate waiting for us in the room, shut the curtains, have a couple of chunks each and sleep all afternoon.
He always used to have his giant-sized bar of dairy milk chocolate when we met sort of on a Thursday night, and he used to sort of wolf that down in 2 seconds, and certainly before the game. He was a big man for his chocolate.
And then on a Saturday morning, he had to wear that scrotty old stinky smelly t-shirt, his smelly horrible pants.
Well, I'm pretty superstitious. I try and do the same things basically pretty much before I play, no matter whatever game it is.
Well, they are my pants, my lucky pants, and they were once Kevin Morgan's before the France game, but I forgot my pants, so Kev gave them to me, and they haven't been taken off ever since. For any match, anyway. I only wear them in rugby matches.
I get incredibly nervous for games. It doesn't matter whether I be playing for Ponty, playing for Lantred, or Wales, or the Lions, or anyone. I'm always very nervous before games. I see it as a good sign for myself, knowing that I'm looking forward to the game, and basically I'm up for it mentally and physically. And it's not good being sick, mind you, before every game, and being sick once a week.
Get into the huddle, and then 5 minutes before the huddle comes, he almost disappears to the toilet or the showers, and you just see someone trying to vomit in the background, which is quite off-putting. But when you're used to it, you just get on with it. But someone said, "Oh, what's that noise?" "Oh, it's just Jenks."
And all you could hear is the and it was that sort of that he would get, and everybody in the dressing room, the captain's trying to give a team talk, and all you'd have is and if he was coming in the circle with all the players where you give us all the big hug, he'd be going and everybody was like now, if you're probably watching this, you'd be going retching at the thought, but that's Neil, and it worked for him.
And that's the coaching team. Graham Henry near side, Lynn Howells.
I think Graham Henry was a huge influence in the fact that he gave him a confidence. It gave him self-belief, because there was so many doubters. Everybody'd have a pop saying he's not this, he's not that. But we were always forgetting the fact that averaged so many points a game in international rugby at club level. He was closing up. And Wales weren't a great side, weren't winning all the time. Yes, we won the championship in '94, but it was thanks to a lot by Neil Jenkins making sure we got those extra points. But Graham said, believe in yourself, believe in the pass, believe in your confidence, believe in your vision. And Neil started to show that. I don't think it became outwardly, but what we saw was the fact that he stepped up to the line. He played in people's faces, and his tactical kicking became so much better as well.
But I think Henry saw in Neil not just a very good goal kicker, but somebody who would run the back line for him. He changed the way Neil played. He wanted him to lie flatter and get in more in the teeth of defenders and pass the ball on to his centres outside him. And it was a role that Neil took to perfectly. And the proof was there the following year when they won 10 matches in a row. And I think that was probably his best time in the Wales shirt, because nobody, for the first time in ages, was questioning who should be the outside half for Wales.
He thought that Neil was a crucial player at number 10, which I think every coach realised that number 10 is still a very, very crucial position, and he adapted Wales' style around Neil's strengths.
He give that freedom and flexibility to Neil to show off his skills and to call in as he saw it.
Huge pressure on Neil Jenkins, but I think it made him realise that he was the commanding figure, the number 10 that really sort of dominated the issue. And I think Graham Henry was good for Neil Jenkins. Neil Jenkins was certainly good for Graham Henry.
If I ever had to pick a game where he was underestimated, was when we played France, and because he was playing flat, he started making breaks, and I don't think up to that stage there were almost questions about Neil, was he able to make a break, not only at international level but at club level. And I think that afternoon he gave an all-round outside half display where he dropped goals, kicked penalties and made breaks. And I think that from that game he gained the respect not only of the public but more importantly the players who played against.
We just started clicking into gear from a point of view, as a team point of view. Played really well out in France, won, absolutely annihilated Italy, which we hadn't done before. We'd really struggled against Italy, but we went to Italy and put 60 points on them, which at that time, Italy were quite a strong team. It was a fantastic result, and set us up nicely then for the England game. And no one gave us a hope at the end of the day, no one gave us a chance. England, very good side.
Wembley wasn't our greatest place. I didn't like Wembley, to be honest, but we had to travel all those miles up there. And I remember going into the game, and we were very quiet, the Welsh, that day, because England were going for the Grand Slam. And I can remember they were selling England Grand Slam T-shirts before the game, and I thought, oh, God,
Would you please welcome the home team? Here they come, Wales! And today's mascot,
Jenkins, chip kick over the head of Steve Hanley there, and what a kick that was. There's a great bust by Perry. Perry over the 10 metres line. There's a great chance here, and it could be a try for Luger. Oh, what a start. Neil Jenkins looks good. It is good. Jenkins, little stab. The crowd thinks it's not bad. It certainly isn't. That is a remarkable kick by Jenkins. Jenkins almost through. Great tackle by Neil back. But laid back by Scott Quinnell. Neil Jenkins, a great chance. It's a try for Howard. The miss pass did it.
this is the pass. And he's playing flat too.
And I knew we weren't very long left. So that's what I felt when I kicked the touch before we had the short line, before Scott scored, was that it was important, I felt, to get a good kick in. And no one ever mentions the kick, but I was well impressed with my line kick, I got to be truthful.
Played about a minute and a half of injury time at the end of the game. England leading 31 points to 25. Jenkins prods Wales up to right on the England 22.
Scott Gibbs wanted the ball. He felt that he was able to score.
Let's give me the ball, I'll have a crack.
And they've only got 3 forwards in the line-out, and it's been left to Chris Wyatt, and how well he did that again. Scott Quinnell, a bust by Scott Gibbs. Scott Gibbs is through. Scott Gibbs has scored. What an amazing try. Scott Gibbs' 6th try for Wales in his 30th.
He's putting his arm up. I said, get around there. Get around under the post, man. Get as close as you possibly can, because I knew we were still behind.
And of course, as soon as we crossed the line, and there was just no question, and I tossed the ball to Neil and said, just kick the thing and put a nail in this game.
That's what he said to me. Those exact words. Not blinking thing, effing thing. He said, just kick the effing thing. He said. I said, oh, thanks, mate. No pressure.
Graham Henry is impressed, but he's not showing any emotion because he knows that Neil Jenkins has got to kick the goal to put Wales into the lead.
Who would you want to kick this in World Rugby? That man.
Of all the great goals he's kicked in his life, Neil Jenkins, this will lift the roof. Has he stuck it over? And indeed he has.
And when he kicked that, the relief that the Welsh public had. It was such a wonderful day. I can remember going outside the ground, from being quiet then at the end of the game. Welshmen were singing, saying we're going to stay up for a few days, celebrate. So for that kick alone, he deserves huge credit, and believe me, it was a pressure kick, but if any man could handle it, and I was so confident he can handle it, it was Neil Jenkins, hero of a nation that afternoon.
What was going through your mind though when you had that conversion to win the match?
I just wanted Scott to go close to the post, to be honest, but no, I felt comfortable all day with the boot, and I wasn't too worried at the end. I was a little bit, but I think the old crowd would have lynched me if I hadn't kicked it, but it's brilliant. I'm just so tough for all the boys and the management and the coaches and the fans and everyone. It's fantastic, bro.
It's really going to be a great trip home now for you and the Welsh team, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's been brilliant, to be honest. I think I have to get back. My nanny very well at home, so I'd like to go back and see her and wish her all the best and things. So cheers, Nan. Thanks
then
a lot,
for a player, probably one of the greatest victories for Wales at Wembley. He goes off straight away because his grandmother was ill, and he left the party immediately after the Wembley game, straight back to Wales to see his grandmother in hospital. And I think that sums up Neil Jenkins Although, you know, he wanted to be there with the players, you know, his family came first.
The Lions played out in South Africa in '97. I mean, Neil was the cornerstone of that success, I believe, with his goal kicking, playing out of position at full-back as well.
He got injured, he broke his arm in the last game of the Five Nations that year against England, and you know, it was always 50-50 whether Neil was going to tour. To go on any Lions tour, there's pressure as a player to perform, but when you're picked out of position and you're looking, probably he's asked by Geach to play full-back. Now, to play against South Africa in the heart of you know, South African rugby for the Lions, out of position, you know, it just sums up Neil's bottle.
South Africa was scoring tries but couldn't kick the conversions, they were missing their penalties. Every time they sort of gave away a penalty, Martin Johnson would call up Neil, come here Neil, bang, 3 points. Bang, 3 points. And the crowd hated Neil Jenkins, the South African crowd, that ginger monster, this, that and the other. And he kicked the Lions to victory, simple as that.
I was just so pleased to be on the trip, absolutely so chuffed. I thought, oh great, you know, I was just going and enjoying myself. The atmosphere is frightening. All the Zulus are on a pitch, I haven't seen anything like that. I've not seen anything like that before. And I remember we ran out and they absolutely sprinted onto the pitch. I thought they were going to run through the stand the other end, South Africa, and I think they expect them to beat us 3-0.
It's almost from halfway, it's a long way out, but Neil Jenkins has caught it quite beautifully. What a kick!
There was never ever a question that he was going to miss. He's just got unbelievable mental strength.
Let's not forget, he won us the second test, he won us the test series, and now with his calmness and that accuracy of boot.
Fantastic kick.
He kept going straight between the sticks. South Africa would come back and score a try, and they'd go back down there, get the 10-yard line, he would bang, penalty. South Africa would come back, he'd go back down, bang, Neil another penalty. South Africa would come back, he'd go back down, bang, Neil another penalty. And then bang, Neil another penalty, and then it was 50 in all, and Guscott dropped the goal.
Got the self-belief, it's Guscott's drop, it's there!
Jeremy Guscott did that drop goal, but without Neil playing out of position in the cauldron that was South Africa, and to step up to the plate, not making easy kicks, but making difficult kicks. Mind-blowing, but if anybody can, Neil can.
After the second test, I was absolutely wrecked. Somebody said that they reckon I come into the restaurant and actually drop kick this orange or something. And I don't know where it went. I was just like, shut up. If it did happen, I apologise to obviously the hotel and whoever else was there. But yeah, I've had many people come up to me and tell me that story, but I can't remember, I gotta be honest. I cannot remember because, I'll be honest with you, I was in a right mess after the game, right mess.
And then it was down and he won the series then, 2 tests. And then he was on to Johannesburg again for the last one, the last test anyways.
Jenkins. Oh, what a kick! And he's broken the individual points record for a Lions player in a test series.
Because then he had Gavin Hastings' record for the Lions, like, which is not a Welshman, it's a Scotchman. That is, he had our record, isn't he? We're going to have one in a Welshman, he's the Scottish one.
You play to your best of your ability, you know, for your club and country, but obviously what you want to enhance your profile worldwide is when you perform on a Lions tour, and Neil did that to aplomb.
Just being part of that tour, you know, I think just being part of a winning test series, I think it just puts you up there really. I think that going to a country like South Africa and winning a test series there, at the end of the day, only 3 sides have ever done that. That's mental, isn't it? Over the period of over 100 odd years, that is an incredible record from their point of view. And for us to be, or for me to be part of a winning squad that actually won a series there in their own backyard, it is special. And I think, myself, I think all the players that were on that trip, just the respect. I think our respect for each other was massive. But I think in general terms, the respect just goes up a few notches, and it's just respect worldwide at the end of the day.
Just watch the little nervous twitches. or two more. Jenkins high and long and straight. Third penalty goal for Neil Jenkins.
Oh, it'd be nothing for him to spend 2 hours kicking the ball on Caerphilly field. Even like 10, 11 years of age. He'd be up there, keep kicking it over.
Any spare moment he had, he would go down to Caerphilly rugby field in Church Village and just practice. And then we pay dividends. It's hard. You think about practice on your own, kicking the ball and going chase it, going back and forth. And the hours and hours and hours he spent practicing.
My mother's brothers were a massive help to me, and my Uncle Andrew and Uncle Peter. They just took me as often as they possibly could and just practice. And I never really got into it properly until probably my second season of my senior rugby. That's when I really made a massive effort and put a huge amount of work in that summer. And I think it basically benefited me for a long time to come.
Far Jones, Liner with the drop goal. Has he got it straight through?
I watched loads of videos of Michael Liner and Graham Fox. I just watched to see, basically how they kicked and how they did things, and in terms of breathing, steps, time, over kicking, actually kicking for goal. And I worked at both, but I felt what suited me more at that time was taking similar steps to what Graham Fox done, and taking the time that he used to take over a kick. He used to take a lot longer than Michael Liner, and I felt that was, for me, just setting myself and concentrating and focusing was a lot easier for me. So I know Graham Fox always took 6 steps back and 2 to the left, whereas I take 4 and 2 and a bit. So that little bit is important for me, and always obviously clean the studs as well. So it's something that I do nigh on every single kick that I do, and it's something that you get used to, and it just becomes second nature.
Who would you want to kick this in world rugby? That man.
Neil Jenkins, this will lift the roof. Has he stuck it over? And indeed he has.
You see my ball tilts forward, whereas Michael Liner's was pretty upright. I tried the upright, didn't feel I was sort of consistent enough to what I wanted to be, of kicking a high ratio. So I tried it forward, and I felt the ball flies a lot straighter through the air. I think it's important, if you are a kicker, to not chop and change. I think once you chop and change, it probably messes your head up in a sense. So I think once you get that routine and you're happy with it, it doesn't work overnight, but you've really got to stick with it. And I think that's what basically I did. I was happy with tilting the ball forward, using the sand, taking 4 steps back, 2 to the left, trying to use your left shoulder to keep over the ball, keep square. And you don't want to be rotating because you pull a lot of kicks and things like that. So it's just a lot of different things that obviously help to being a top class goal kicker. I just found the easiest thing for me to imagine was just being on my training pitch in Llantewr, where there's no one there, no one at all. It's just you, your balls, your pitch and your goalpost at the end of the day. I just find that if I ever think to myself, right, there's 80,000 people here, there's millions on TV, I would probably just collapse in a heap. I think, oh my God, what's going on here? So I just find it much more easier to think, look, there's no one here. You're on a training pitch. More often than not, you kick everything on a training pitch. And that's what I pretty much imagine I am doing.
Looks good. No problem.
Jenkins then. Almost a little chip kick for him. Upward side for Neil Jenkins, of course, the right footer. Jenkins trying to steer it through. Yes, that's more right. The east stand will give you an idea.
Superb strike. My tips for kicking, for youngsters anyway, I think in a sense that, for the older guys, I think it's just purely hard work. I think that if you can find a rhythm and a routine and a technique that suits yourself, I think that's vitally important. But putting the hard work in and enjoying it at the end of the day. I think that's the main key. Head down, follow through. There's so many little tips and so many little things that you can work on, but purely enjoyment. I think that's the main thing. And for the younger kids, I think they should just go out and enjoy themselves, like these youngsters here, just kicking about, having a good time. And I think as they get older, they realise then maybe the more work they put in, probably the better they'll get.
You join us here live as Neil Jenkins prepares for another great evening of television with a top-of-the-range TV he's bought from Just Rentals. He steadies himself. Just look how focused he is on that Just Rental slot meter. His preparation, as ever, has been perfect. The television's been delivered and installed free of charge. And you can see the pound coin is ready. Now, can he slot it in and guarantee a great night of home entertainment? It looks long enough, straight enough, it's made it. Jenkins has done it again with Just Rentals. What an easy way to buy a television.
He has won or kept Wales in so many games that you can't start to to add them up, and because his kicking was so good, they could hang on in there. If they were in the opposition half, they had a penalty, invariably he would knock it over. And I think I've seen some great kickers. Grant Fox was one of the best. Then I've seen Liner, Johnny Wilkinson,
Dominguez, Gavin Hastings.
I've never ever seen a better goal kicker than Neil Jenkins.
He kicked in sides that weren't successful, so maybe if you've been playing for let's say a present English side like Johnny Wilkinson's getting 6 chances at conversions, Neil perhaps was only having 1 or 2 conversions because we weren't successful. So I think the way he conducted himself each time, the same routine, the same concentration, head down, follow through, magnificent technique, and he's rescued Wales on so many occasions that I think under those circumstances I would rate him as the greatest goal kicker of all time.
Makes no mistake, Neil Jenkins, number 1, 913 points in his international career, beats the world record held by Michael Liner.
Looking at yourself and achieving that record in front of your own fans, in a World Cup, well, there's no more you can say. I was stuck on 911, I'd equalled it, and I was stuck on it for that, and it was just everything, and was all, this world record, this world, all week. I was just turning up inside me. I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Can't wait for the game to come. The game come, and I couldn't kick a thing early doors. I missed the first 2 or 3 or something. I was like a cabbage. I was going everywhere. I was thinking, and I think something happened. We had a penalty try or something under the post on it.
Penalty try awarded.
That was the only reason. If it had been anywhere else, I weren't going to kick it. I'm obviously pleased to break a world record. Any records of that magnitude is fantastic, and I was so chuffed. But once I got out, it was a bit of a relief. I think, great, let's move on now.
Now Neil Jenkins, second successful kick for him, and Neil Jenkins has done it. He's reached his 1,000 points, the first player in the history of the rugby union game to score 1,000 points in Test match rugby, and the crowd are rising to him. The Welsh support know of his achievement. What a moment for Neil Jenkins, the 29-year-old. Just listen to this.
Records are there to be broken, as I said. If I'd have been stuck on 960 or 970, it's just it is not just, but it's a world record. But actually being the first player to score 1,000 international test points in the history of the game for over 100 odd years that's the one that really comes to mind, and that's something that I am absolutely hugely proud of, because at the end of the day, no one can take that away from me. It's just 1,000 points, Neil Jenkins.
When he got that 1,000 points, it was, I've achieved, I've shown all my doubters. I've proved that every hour, every day that I've trained has been worth it, because I've got that, and he so deserves it.
I always look back and do think about one or two of these people that criticised me over the past. I'm extremely happy with what I've achieved. I'm sure if they'd achieved that in their game, they'd have been more than happy.
Great moment for Neil Jenkins, the first player to reach 1,000 points in Test matches, and that was the kick that did it.
My life is his. My wife Catherine, my daughter Georgia, and our dog now Chester. He's an handful in himself. But that's and my mother and father, obviously, and Cat's family. That's how I relax at the end of the day. I'm definitely most happy here when I'm at home. I think, don't get me wrong, I love playing and enjoying the game. But when you see my daughter and the energy that she's got, and it's just fantastic. And Kath obviously is just I'm definitely most happiest at home.
Oh, there's water.
It's not.
Oh, it's not, is it?
Pot.
Oh, pot, all right. Oh, you should pot that now.
Oh,
Steve Davis, but
as far as I'm concerned, I'm just Neil Jenkins or Jenks to the boys. I'm nothing else, and that's the way it should be. I work for Bayou View. The job that I do for them is pretty awesome in terms of seeing kids, doing coaching with kids and things like that, going to schools and doing question and answer sessions, and you know, just basically, you know, I just enjoyed, I suppose, being around kids.
Neil Jenkins used my pen, and I got a signed autograph from my father as well, so you should be happy with that.
This is a moment charged with emotion. It all started for Neil Jenkins way back in January 1991 against England. And here we are, 87 caps later, and 100 representative games for Wales in that red shirt. With 3-year-old daughter Georgia, Daddy's farewell.
It was an unbelievable weekend. It couldn't have gone any better, really. It just could not have gone any better. It was a boiling hot day. The family had a box, and all my mates were in the box, and their wives and, you know, girlfriends and that, enjoying themselves. Georgia was a mascot, team mascot. You know, I got lucky enough to lead the team out.
Jenkins, that could be his last break in a Welsh jersey. Can it lead to a try? The crowd are roaring them on. Jenkins, oh, Vernon Cooper, there are men out spare. Well done, Stephen Jones. Now the long pass out, it could be Shanklin's third. Shanklin is there.
I just could not have scripted any better. It was just fantastic, and luckily enough to get that kick at the end as well. And couldn't have been much of an harder kick, mind. It was a bit gutted and it was that far out. But well, I was thinking, where's my stand? Because they give me a kick in tea. I was like, what's this?
In all games for the Wales, Lions, Cardiff, Pontypridd and the Barbarians, this man has amassed over 5,000 points. 5,239, including 109 tries in just over 400 games all told. He holds the Welsh record on 1,049. Dad watches, a proud man. And everyone in the stadium is willing this ball to go straight and true for Jenkins. Neil Jenkins, it's there! The flags are raised triumphantly.
Oh man, he didn't have any qualms. He definitely thought I was going to kick it. My father's like well positive. He didn't think, no, my mother would have been, my mother would have gone out the back and hid. I know she would have, she wouldn't have looked. But my father, no, definitely, no, he'll kick this, definitely. He's, I don't know how many pints he'd had by then, mind you, they'd all had a guts full by then, I think.
It was sad, I suppose, because like it was one of the last times we're going to see him on the international field. And we've had so much pleasure over the last 12 years, 13 years, and it become like, well, it was just, Neil was Wales, his Wales.
The final word, the final points belonged to Neil Jenkins in his final appearance in the Welsh shirt.
I don't think he had the plaudits which he really deserved. The world records he's broken, what he achieved in the game, and you know, I'm just so glad that Neil had the opportunity to run out on that Millennium Stadium to finish his career, because a player who has given Wales so much over a decade of rugby deserves to go out on a high, and Jenks did that.
I think that said it all for me, you know. Well done, Neil. You've ridden the good times, the hard times, the bad times, and here you are, going out with dignity and pride. You can't ask for no more than that.
When I was younger, I think I thought I'd hear myself say, yeah, I'm looking forward to actually finishing. But I've had a good run. It's time to get out. I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but you know, I certainly did, and I'm so chuffed to actually say, right, this is it, it's not anymore. And honest to God, the weight off your shoulders is unbelievable. It's just like taking the world off your shoulders. It is. The amount of pressure that comes with playing for Wales. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic to play for your country, but when it's all over, you just think, great.
The best number 10 I played with during my 8-year international career. I'm just thankful for whoever selected us, 9 and 10, 30 odd times. Thank you very much.
He obviously comes from the valleys. He's born and brought up and still lives in the valleys, and you know, I don't think you could ever take that away from Neil Jenkins.
You know, the strength of character, the durability, some bad knocks, just got up, got on with the game, and at the end of the day, you'll always be known perhaps, you know, a working class boy from Ponty who made it to the very top.
Can I have a sausage and chips, please, for Georgia? And just a bag of chips for myself.
He's popular because of who he is, not because of his rugby successes. It's because of, you know, who he is. He's a nice guy, and you know, people appreciate that.
See you again, man. Thanks, right, cheers, go Stags. Ta-da.
He will be missed, yeah. But all the memories are, you know, either in here or up there. But I mean, when you talk about, you ask anyone about Neil, they'll always smile because there's always a story behind it, because just a lovable guy. Because I'd say 3 million population in Wales, I'd say 2.5 of them have met Neil in some way, shape or form.
It was quite heartwarming to meet someone you think is so special in what they do, yet is so humble a person and so easy to talk to and you know, and get on with. So yeah, that was quite an eye-opener for me and something I've really tried to learn from.
Neil will be remembered among the legendary figures with whom he was so unfavourably compared at the start of his career. And I think he's someone who will give hope to every small boy in Wales, or outside Wales, who wants to make it to the top in rugby. In his own words, he was a boy from a working class background who ended up becoming the most capped player for Wales and the biggest point scorer in the history of international rugby. As he says himself, he can't believe it, but the fact he's done it is an inspiration to all, and he's somebody whose name will always be synonymous with Welsh rugby.
As long as people remember me for who I am, not in terms of I am my own person, I am my own man. I'm not a 70s person. I am Neil Jenkins. I just I give 110% week in, week out, basically. That's all basically I want to be remembered. I'm quite happy for what I've achieved. I'll look back and be proud and be happy with what I've achieved, and hopefully one or two of the fans or one or two of the people that have followed me on my career will do the same.